Greetings, Dice Tower. Jenny St Arnold here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having an amazing spectacular. We're going to be talking about the top 10 games that I think are great for people who love to roleplay. This is a list for people who love to roleplay, not necessarily for gamers with a capital G who love to roleplay, but if you want a list like that, let me know. I basically put this list in order based on how fun I think they are and how easy it is to kind of just jump in and play a character, and they're mostly a lot of silly fun. So without further ado, let's get started. Once upon a time with number 10. Okay, so starting with number 10. This is an amazing game. It's one of the first ones that came to mind when I was trying to brainstorm what I wanted to put on this list. In this game, you are playing the head of a house, and you are the inner circle of the king, and you have a lot of influence about the decisions that are made, and there's lots of voting and negotiation, and it's really fun. And of course, I'm talking about The King's Dilemma. It's a legacy-style game where everyone has their own goals that they want to meet for each individual game, but also, sort of long-term, what they want to end up achieving by the end of the game. And it's fantastic. There's ways you can bribe each other or negotiate during the voting phase. And it's like, hey, I'll give you 3 gold if you vote my way. And then they don't. And you're like, oh, betrayed. And it's just so good. There's something magical about trying to convince everyone else to do something horrible because it's what your house needs. We have to burn down this forest. It's very important. And everyone else is like, why? And it's so much fun. It really is a rich role-playing experience. Fantastic game. But I put it at number 10 because it can get pretty dark. There's a lot of themes that are, could be uncomfortable for some people. But if you're the kind of person who thinks you can handle that sort of thing, a darker theme, I can't recommend it enough. It's an amazing game. So that's number 10, The King's Dilemma. Okay, let's talk about number 9. So speaking of kings, this is a Yahtzee-style game where you are playing a giant monster kaiju and you're attacking other monsters and you're also attacking a big city. It's King of Tokyo. This game is amazing for people who love to roleplay because you get to play an interesting character, a giant cyber kitty or a huge space chicken or whatever, any of the awesome monsters that come in this game. My personal favorite is to play the giant gingerbread man. But you can have really fun voices, you can describe your attacks, and overall it's just a really wild, sort of over-the-top crazy time, and that's why I love it. So that's my number 9, King of Tokyo. Okay, we're gonna mosey on to number 8. So this is a sandbox style game where you get to pick the path that you choose. You start out as a specific character who is an actual historical figure from the American Wild West, and as the game progresses, you decide what kind of path they're going to take. Of course, I'm talking about Western legends. So I love this game for roleplay because you can decide what arc your character is going to take. And you can make it different every single time. You can start off as an outlaw, then become a sheriff. I mean, who doesn't love a redemption arc, right? Or you can just herd cattle the whole time. It's totally up to you. The world is your oyster, as they say. So if you love to develop a character as you go and react to events in the world, Western Legends is a great option for you. That's my number 8. All right, we're going to race on to number 7. So this game is a racing game where you play all sorts of different characters and you compete in a number of races, and whoever wins the most races gets the most points is the winner. That game is Magical Athlete. So this game is incredibly silly, so silly. And that's what I love about it for RP roleplay purposes, because you get to draft what characters you're going to play. The jankiness of the game is what makes it so charming. And there's tons of different characters, but let me tell you, if you have not had a chance to play Magical Athlete, or you've only played the base game and you're ever at a Dice Tower event, you have got to play Tom's copy of Magical Athlete. And if you can play it with Tom, even better, because it is something to behold. It's so much fun. Everyone's laughing. Everyone's role-playing, even if they've never role-played before, because these characters are so silly and crazy what they do and how they interact with each other. And it's just a great time. I highly recommend Magical Athlete. That's my number 7. Well, we're going to chug on to number 6. So, this game is a game where you play a bandit trying to get the loot. So you're going to be scheming, you're going to be stealing in Colt Express. So in this game, it all takes place on a train where you and a bunch of other bandits are trying to get loot. And you do that by playing cards. Some of the cards are face up, some are face down. And your goal is to try and keep track of what you played and what other people played, which I never can. For some reason, my brain just not retain the information. I don't know why. But in my opinion, it makes it even more fun because then when the cards are played back in order, it's like a total train wreck. No pun intended. And what happens? People just punching the air, trying to pick up loot and there's not even anything there. You're trying to get someone else caught by the marshal, but you get caught instead. And each of your bandits has their own special ability. I love to role play why your bandit might have that ability. And if you are someone who really is into the Old West cowboy, cowgirl fantasy, I think this is a good fit for you. So that's my number 6, Colt Express. Ahoy, me mateys, we're sailing on to number 5. So in number 5, you play a pirate who is sailing the ocean blue with a bunch of other pirates, and you're trying to accomplish your goal as well as the goals for the whole ship in Forgotten Waters. So this game is great in its own right. When you show up at these different locations, it's a storybook game, so has these gorgeous illustrations, and you have to very quickly choose where you're going to go. And you're trying to become the most infamous pirate because the most infamous pirate gets to pick first. And it's really immersive and amazing. But what I really love about the role play aspect is you're given a whole backstory. You get a little booklet, and inside it has a backstory that you're going to fill in. There's blanks. You fill those in Mad Lib style. So some of those blanks are going to have room for other player characters. So you start developing relationships in the world with other characters, and it's a really rewarding role play experience and super duper fun and easy. So if you like Pirates of the Caribbean, or you are, you always like to be a pirate for Halloween, this is definitely a game you should check out. That's my number 5, Forgotten Waters. Okay, so we're moving on to number 4. So in this game, you are playing high school students in the 90s, which some of us might, be able to relate to a little better than others, where you are trying to solve a mystery in Crimes and Capers High School Hijinks. So I can't give away too much about this game because it is a one-time playthrough mystery game, but I will tell you that each character in this game is awesome, and your friend has been framed and you're trying to unravel the mystery of who framed her and why and what happened. And when we played it, our group had a fantastic time. Everyone kind of fell into a different high school trope, and it was so much fun. And if you love the 90s and sort of tropish characters from that era, and you like escape room style games, this is definitely one you should check out. That's Crimes and Capers High School Hijinks, my number 4. Ah, yes, I cordially invite you to join me for number 3. In this game, you are at a tea party, but not just any tea party. Oh, no, it's a dinosaur tea party. This is Guess Who, but with amazing dinosaur character art. And as soon as you see this character art, you can tell exactly what kind of personality they have and what their voice sounds like. And it's so easy to jump into character. And that's why I love it for roleplay. And it's a very simple game, so you don't have to spend a lot of mental energy on it. You can concentrate on playing this character while you're playing the game at the same time. I like to get actual tea, unsweet. Tom, stop making that face. And, you could put on a boa or a nice hat or some fancy glasses or, just talk in a over the top posh accent and have an amazing time playing this super simple game. So anyone can jump in and just be inspired by this amazing art and these characters and jump right in. So if you like to talk in outrageous accents and you like silly fun and deduction games, Dinosaur Tea Party might be right up your alley. It's my number 3. Well, we are rolling on to number 2. So in this game, you are playing as your own individual fighter who is rolling dice and playing cards and trying to annihilate all of your opponents. And that's Dice Throne. So you can play this game competitively, which I think is my favorite way to play, where you're just constantly one after the other trying to take out your opponents. You can do 1v1, you can do teams, you can do free-for-all, and it's great. Your player mat has this awesome artwork on it with all of your abilities, and as the game goes on, your abilities get upgraded, which is amazing, and it just makes your attacks that much more cool. And you can do fun voices, and it's just everything you need is right there in front of you to build an awesome role-playing experience. So many great opportunities to talk smack with each other and just get into this combat scenario with someone else. It's so much fun. Now, I have also played this cooperatively. In fact, if you want to see that, check out the playthrough I did on the Dice Tower with Chris and Mike. Let me tell you, we played the game real well. We did good playing the game. You should check it out. Yeah. Anyway, so I love Dice Throne. If you love role-playing in a fighting combat scenario, if you want to really be able to suck it to your opponents but have a really good time and not feel mean-spirited about it, Dice Throne is perfect for that. And I highly encourage you next time you play to really get into the character and not just treat it as a mechanical experience. But yeah, that's my number 2, Dice Throne. All right, so we are walking through the gate to number 1. So my number 1 is a bluffing game where you play a merchant who is trying to maximize their profit during the prince's visit in Sheriff of Nottingham. So this is a very simple game where you are just trying to sell goods. The sheriff, each player has a turn playing the sheriff, is either going to let your goods in or check your bag. And if they check your bag and you have contraband, that's bad news for you because you're trying to get the most profit you can. The reason this is my number 1 game for people who love to roleplay is there are so many options and it's so easy and open and just fun to get into. If you're the sheriff, are you going to be a pompous sheriff? Are you going to be a greedy sheriff? Are you going to be a sheriff who already has some deals with these merchants? When you play a merchant, are you going to be the kind of merchant who lies every time and tries to smuggle something in every single round? Are you going to be super by the book and never try anything? Do you already have relationships with other merchants? I played a couple times where our whole group just invented a town that we all lived in, and we had relationships with one another we could reference, and I don't think I've ever had such an uproarious time as I have playing Sheriff of Nottingham. So that's my number 1. All right, well, there you have it. That's my top 10 games for people who love to role play. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have an amazing, fantastic, best ever rest of your day, evening, night, whatever it happens to be for you. I hope you have a great rest of your spectacular, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.